Right. Cool. Okay. We'll get you started, not so much for using, but just so that we know what's on, who's on the film. We'll get you to say your first name and what you're studying, what year you're in, whether you're full part-time.
Yeah, sure. My full name is Haidiju, Haidiju. My surname is Jiu, because that's the name for me, is a Chinese person. And I study in uni as a full-time student. Even this is my last semester. And I choose the 3 distant course, so it's quite not really easy for me at this moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're studying by distance?
Only this semester.
Oh, just this semester?
Yeah, because this is my last semester.
And you're doing accounting, is it?
Yeah.
Of accounting?
Yeah, it is Master of Accounting.
Okay, okay. You're an international student.
Yes.
What inspired you to study this degree, and why did you choose to come to Tasmania to do it?
Well, actually, before I went to Australia to studying, I already spent 1 more year in another Hong Kong's company as a salesman. And at that period of time, it's pretty good, but not really lucky, because at the end of the 2009, the financial crisis had just happened. So I can keep my job, but I feel so bored because nothing to do, not too much business to do. So I have a really good conversation with my manager, who is also my friend for a long time, and I asked him a few questions, which is the first one I asked him is, what's my future in this company? And he said to me, honestly, he said, 2 more years you can be the supervisor, because at that time I was assistant supervisor. And he says, you don't have a master degree, you only have a bachelor degree, and you don't speak really good English. And besides that, most important, you are not people from Hong Kong. I mean, local people from Hong Kong, because that company is running by all the Hong Kong's people. So in the future, the only things you can do is supervisor. So I think, well, fair enough for me at that moment. So I think it's better for me to go overseas to studying in the native English-speaking country. Actually, at first I chose Canada to study. That's my wish at first. But turns out it's too complicated for me at that moment. And then too many things happened in that 1 year, which I spent for preparing my student visa and offer from the uni. And for the reason I chose Tasmania to study is because I was born in a big city, and I spent almost 20 years in a big city. So for me, actually, I don't think there's any reason for me to choose another big city, such as Melbourne, Sydney, even Canberra, that kind of city to study again. So, and then I looking all the information about the university in Australia, and then I think University of Tasmania is the best option for me. Besides that, I got 25% for international scholarship. Pretty good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
That's a really good answer. Thank you for giving me such
My
detail,
pleasure.
because it's going to be really useful for other students to know what's going on, and also to help our staff as well, if they've got some idea of why we're getting international students. So it's really good. Could you tell me something that you really wish you'd known before you started the degree that you're doing now, that you know now? So something you wish you'd known in advance.
Actually, for example, just like myself, I used to be a salesman, so I do the business with my customers. But actually, I don't understand, and I have no idea what's the meaning about the numbers on that paper. Because before we do the business, we have to sign the contract with the customers. And still during that conversation with my manager, I said, maybe I should do some business degree, which I can know a little bit more about the meaning, about the numbers on the paper. So actually my bachelor degree is engineering, and to be a salesman is not, I don't think there's some or any connection between that. But again, the reason I choose Master of Accounting is to study accounting, you will know or you will realize the meaning about the numbers. That's the principle for me at the moment. Yeah.
All right. Can you describe how studying at a master's level in Australia differs from your previous experience of studying at an undergraduate level in Hong Kong?
Quite different, I would say. Quite different, because first of all, I'm living in Australia, which is the totally different country for me. I have to speak English every day. Studying, writing, listening, speaking, all that kind of stuff, I have to use the language which is not my mother language. At first half year is quite different, quite difficult for me. And the second is studying master degree, you have to rely on yourself. It's not just follow the direction or follow the lecture from the uni. That's just a bit of the instruction, and then you have to follow that to find the way which suit yourself. It's better for yourself to find the answer. It's not just okay, I just had lessons, had lecture in the uni, and then I just finished my homework. It's not just like that. Which in China we kind of used to do that. Just had the lesson, had the lecture, and then back to home and finish the homework, and that's it. It's quite different, actually.
Thank you. You're talking about not working in your native language. So can you talk a little bit more about that process of working, what it's like to be studying in a language that's not your own, and also any differences you're noticing between writing and speaking in class and for assignments, and the kind of language that you use just when you're having a conversation as well?
Yeah, sure. For assignments, I would say it's huge difference. It's huge difference. When I was studying in the university in China for the bachelor degree, normally for the assignments we just write whatever in my mind or whatever I think, not really looking for the reference. But in Australia, I have to find some reference, really academic reference, to support my point of view. That's the big difference. You can, because you are not professor and you are not profession guys in that area. You're just a student. Even you have some new mind, but again, you have to find some really academic views or information to support you to approve that. That's the big difference in assignment. And for the speaking, even now, I've been here almost more than 2 years. Even now, sometimes it's quite difficult for me because the words limitation. Sometimes even I have a conversation with some people, they say some English words. I have no idea what they're talking about because I don't know that name, don't know that words. And for the half year, the first half year is quite difficult for me. Even now, sometimes I have to translate English to Chinese, and then say, oh, okay, what was that? And then I find out what was that, and then I try to think in Chinese in my mind, and then when I speak out, I have to translate that Chinese in my mind to English again. But actually I try to avoid doing that because I know that's not good for me to improve my English.
Thank you. You talked about referencing, there's a big emphasis this year on academic integrity
Yes.
and referencing. Why is it important to use other people's ideas?
Well, as I know, because the half year I studied the language in the International Student Center. During that period of time, every day I would talk from the lecture. The teacher said, "Here you have to find some reference to support you, because as I mentioned before, I'm not a professor or professional guys to just speak out the things and let everybody to understand or to realize, oh, this is wonderful. Even that is correct. You have to find another point of view to support that." Yeah.
Right. In your accounting, your master's of accounting, do you write reports, or what's the sort of most common kind of assignment that you would do?
Assignments, SC, research paper, reports. Yeah.
Reports.
Yeah.
Can I get you to describe? Because we haven't asked anyone else that's been doing this kind of work what's involved in writing a report. So can I get you to talk through working on a report assignment and what you do, what's different about writing a report to, say, writing an essay?
There's I wouldn't say that horrible assignment, which is the report in last semester. It's Australia tax law. The final assignment, which is the final report, was for 35% of the whole internal. And during that period of time, it's quite horrible time for me. Actually, I haven't done that before. So the difference for me between the normal assignment and the reports is, first off, it's a format. It's a format. It's different. Assignment, you have to follow almost 5 different parts: introduction, analysis, and examples, and conclusion, and that's it. Report is quite different. Report, you have to think about the audience first. Who is going to read that report? That's the first thing you have to think about, because most of the audience for the report is not just like academic person. It doesn't like the assignment. The people will look at your assignment, which is the students, lecturers, or professor or doctor. They know what you're talking about in the professional way. But for the report, which is not everybody can read that, just like the annual report from the big company, Boworth, Coast, that even just normal person can download and look at that. So you have to think about the words you were writing about that is easy to understand or not. And then you have to follow the legislation by the states or by the Australia government. Because the business report, you have to follow company law, tax law, legislation, all that kind of stuff. Have to be professional, but in the easy way to understanding.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You sort of answered the next question I was going to ask. Part of that, I've asked you that. Can you describe the challenge you sort of done that? Just let me think for a moment. Oh, it's okay. Do you have exams as part of your masters?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you talk about how you go about preparing for an exam when you start studying? How much time you spend preparing?
For the exams, again, compared to my bachelor degree in China, is still totally different. In China, we usually, to be honest, kind of feel just a little embarrassed about this education system in my bachelor degree. So before the examination, the last week as here, the lecturer will let you know what's the important, which is the important things, or just which kind of stuff I'm going to examine you in the final examination. So you will have an idea to know, oh, this is important or this is not important, so I can just ignore that. But here it's quite different. Some of them is more or less, but most of the subjects course is quite different. So the lecturer will let you know the whole process about the examination, and during the examination you will have how many times. That's normal thing, but about the important points or the kind of stuff will be in the paper during the examination. The lecturer normally won't let you know. I just say this is the whole semester, and we've been through such modules. So maybe 1, 2, 3 is more important than the others, but you have to review all that stuff to prepare the examination. So it's not easy.
How much time do you spend preparing for exams? When do you start preparing for exams?
Actually, it depends. The percentage about the internal I already have in different course in one semester. So, for example, in last semester, 2 of them, I finished the full course in last semester. 2 of them already had more than 30%. So to pass that course is not really difficult for me. So I just use maybe couple days to prepare a little bit, because I know studying here is not easy, and most of the students supposed to have HD. But for me, my principle is pass, because during the daytime I have to study, but during the nighttime I have to work. So pass is my target. So 2 of them already have more than 30. So to pass is not really difficult. Another 2, more or less, 20 or 25. So I spend a little bit more, almost around 1 week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about, because you're working as well, how you balance that work and study, your work and study commitments and your other commitments?
For that, if another new student were asking me about the same question, I will tell them the same answer. If you get a chance, go ahead. Because at the second month I've been in Australia, when I studying language in Launceston, I already got a job in Asian takeaway as a chef. And since I moved to Hobart, half year later, because in the first half year it's quite not easy to find a good job in my mind. So after that, I got a job as a night manager in Hobart Hostel. So during the daytime, I went to the uni to studying or do my assignment or homework, and back to the hostel from 7 to 10. I gotta work, and after that, just go bed something. Yeah. Just try to balance your things. Actually, almost all my friends tell me the thing, you work too much. And I say, yeah, a little bit looks like, but which is not, because it's up to yourself. So if you can balance the life between the studying and working, you can work it out. As I know, just like myself, I pay the uni fee by myself in last 2 semesters, which is not small money.
That's quite a lot of money. Yeah. Very impressive. I'm just wondering how we're going for time. Yeah. If you had some tips for a new student, so 2 tips to give to a new student, what would those be?
Because I'm an international student, so if the student is another international student, I would say the things you choose Australia to study, I think majority part of that is you want to, or you have to improve your English. So first of all, don't be shy, and don't feel ashamed to speak poor English or not. So you have to follow the principle. It doesn't mean I couldn't say that. I just feel shy to speak English. The first of all, speak it out. Doesn't matter it's okay or not. You have accent, it doesn't matter. So the best thing, you have to speak it out. That's the first step. Second of all is try focus on your studying. Don't spend too much time on your party. Well, party is essential. You need party to relax, but don't do that too often. Third is do not try to cheat on your examination, which is not worse.
Okay. And one last thing. Do you think the way that you think about things or behave has changed as a result of doing your degree?
Well, actually, it is. That's the. Before I study here, the thing is always in my mind. When I do something or when I talk to somebody else, I was in the Chinese way. So it's quite different. Actually, at this moment, I don't know how to say that, but after 2 years studying in Australia, I would say I changed quite different in my mind to thinking things, because when I was 2 years ago, when I was studying or working in China, if there is a problem in front of me, I would say, okay, from my point of view, what's the answer, or how do we solve the problem, and that's it. But after 2 years studying here and also working here, I learned a way, try not just focus that question from my own point of view, try to see the different view about the problems from the different angle. So if there are 5 people in a group to solve the problem in the same time, so you can speak out, you can put you out the point of the how to solve the problem, but again, it might be the answer from the other person. So you have to put your feet on his shoes or her shoes to say, well, from his or her point of view, I would say the problem is quite different. So I think that's the difference for me. So from now, not from now, long time before, I already try solve the problem, or to try to view the problem or view everything, not just in my point of view, in different views, as much as more.
Fantastic. Thank you. That's
Okay.
a really great answer. We'll be able